Hi everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that a lot of firstborn daughters go through, but might not always talk about the emotional toll of being seen as the responsible one. If you're the firstborn daughter in a traditional family, you might feel that everyone looks to you to always have it all together. And while it's an honor, it also comes with a lot of hidden challenges, expectations, and pressure. So let's dive into some of these pressures. As a firstborn daughter, you might feel like you're constantly taking care of others, whether it's looking after your younger siblings, helping with chores, or even being the one who people go to when there's a problem. You're also probably expected to set a good example for everyone else, which sometimes feels like you always have to be perfect. Emotional impacts. So, how does this all affect us emotionally? One major impact is anxiety. The pressure to always be there for others, to always do the right thing, can make you feel constantly worried that you might mess up or disappoint someone. Then there's the guilt. Sometimes we want to do things for ourselves, whether it's spending time with friends or focusing on our own goals. But there's this feeling of guilt, like we're letting others down if we put ourselves first. And then there's burnout. Taking on too much responsibility can be exhausting, and we end up feeling drained, both mentally and physically. That feeling of isolation can also set in, as we might feel like there's no one we can really talk to about this without being judged. For long-term effects, these experiences can have a lasting effect. As adults, we might struggle with setting boundaries because we're so used to being there for others. We could develop people-pleasing habits where we find it hard to say no because we're worried about disappointing people. There's also self-doubt, wondering if we're ever really good enough because we grew up with so much pressure to be perfect. And self-care might feel foreign because we've always been told to put others first. Ways to cope and heal. So how can we start to cope with all of this? One powerful way is by learning to set boundaries. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to take time for ourselves. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Another step is seeking support, whether that's from friends who understand or even talking to a therapist. Sharing our experiences can lighten the load and help us feel less alone. And finally, let's work on reclaiming our identity. Finding and following our own passions, whether it's a career path, a hobby, or just taking time for our own goals, helps us feel whole outside of family responsibilities. I just want to say, if you relate to this, you're not alone. Being the responsible one is hard, but it doesn't mean we have to sacrifice our own happiness or health. We can learn to find a balance between family expectations and our own dreams.